this regular session of the Wetzel County Board of Education to order. We will start with the opening Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Castello, and I will mention a moment of silence. Anyone not wishing to participate may stay seated.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, our first thing after that is an excellent thing. I'm very proud of some of our students. It's recognition of the 2023 West Virginia State Champion Meets Evaluation Team, Magnolia High School. And would these students please come forward? Emerson Glasscock, Kyler Fortney, Logan Morris, and Carson Wade. Come on up here on the stage.
I'll talk. 1, 2, 3. A couple. 1, 2, 3.
Now, we're not letting you off that easy. Could each of you tell us something about your team and what all you had to do? And
go ahead, Carson. That's not right on down to you. All right, we're moving up the line.
Well, had to practice a lot. Had to identify meat cuts, judge, place how leanness of meat and all that stuff.
anything you can tell us about it? Debbie, you can tell us how many people you were going against? 53?
How many was it, Mr. Ash?
There was 13 teams from around the state, I believe.
In one state.
4 on each team, so we're going to wrap them up.
Did you have to do any written tests, or was it all hands-on work, or a combination?
It's all in
We're very proud of you. Please keep up the work and encourage others to follow in your footsteps. Thank you. With that, two comments that I should have made is Mrs. Porter is not here this evening. She is at a required 2-day training for new school board superintendents that she has to go to, so she was not able to be here. Second thing is, board members, please speak loudly so that everyone in the audience can hear us. Next thing is a presentation by the School-Based Professional Probation Officer Program, Mr. Brian Hostetter.
I brought something for each board member. And if anybody else, I have two extra copies. I didn't know if anybody else would need them. It's just some basic information. I guess what brings me here is just society in general. The state has moved to try to put probation officers at just like PROs in the school. There's 21, as of 2022, I think there's 21 school-based POs in 21 counties. Our circuit's Marshall, Wetzel, and Tyler, and we just recently added one in Marshall. He's going to be housed at John Marshall High School, but he'll work with all the schools. The program's designed more so for like your truancies and your tobacco violations and your lesser offenses. It's a resource to connect the school to the court system, to the PROs. And I've been speaking with some of the PROs and school members recently in Wetzel and Tyler County for whatever reason. I'm not here to blame anybody, but some things have changed from what drove juvenile cases out of the court system. I think there's a lot of frustration because the school and the PROs don't know what to do to handle the kids. So we're trying to offer that back to you guys as a resource. So that's kind of where we're at, and how the program works is the Department of Ed pays half of it, and it's all in the packet. There's an MOU between you guys and the Supreme Court. The Department of Ed for the first 2 years pays half of it, and then like Wetzel County will pay half of it. If you choose to keep the program after that, then it's the county pays for it. And the salary, I can't really give you a salary because salary varies based on the experience and what type of degree they have. If they have a master's degree as opposed to just a bachelor's degree. So, like the guy we hired in Marshall County, he has a master's degree plus he had worked with the Supreme Court prior, so he has a lot of years experience. And his was kind of on the higher end. He started off like, I don't want to give the salary away, but I think the county had to put up like $23,000. So that's kind of what brings me here. I mean, and there's a drug problem even with our youth. Marshall County, we've seen it, and then recently, once our juvenile cases started picking back up and we started testing, there's some juveniles that have methamphetamine problems and stuff. So it's kind of a resource to you guys if you're interested. We offered to Marshall County, Tyler County, and I met with Mrs. Porter to just offer that to her.
Okay, so this is something that, we'll talk with her, of course, when she gets back, that we'll discuss as a board to see if we want to be a part of this program, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it would be up to the county. Mrs. Porter, I met with her, she seemed interested. She said she had to talk with the board members, asked me if I'd be willing to come talk to you guys and answer any questions you may have. I told her I would. So I put some basic information together for you guys. Excuse any typos on the cover page. I did this in the middle of doing 100 other things.
Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Hustick?
So if we put this on the agenda eventually, would you be willing to come back and answer questions after we have a chance to really
I can.
look at it?
Yeah, I'm available anytime you guys need me.
And we'd be looking at one person for the whole county too.
I mean,
That's not just us.
realistically, you could if you wanted to if we wanted to get one for every school or every high school. Really, I don't think it makes much sense for anything below 7th grade. So most of the person we're working with, most oftentimes 7 through 12. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to try, Marshall County's doing one. He's going to be housed at John Marshall, but he'll go to Cameron and he'll go to the middle schools as needed. But realistically, like there's some counties that have multiple ones. I mean, if you like the program, you want to hire one for every school you could. So that would be up to the county. The job duties are listed in there, but they're kind of flexible. In speaking with other counties, everybody kind of does it different. So it would be like a team effort between probation and the school system.
Well, then we all need to read through this in more detail and get it put on another agenda, like you said, so that we can discuss it and talk with Mrs. Porter too.
All right.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Hustick.
Thank you.
There are no delegations, so let's move to number 5, superintendent's information. Mr. McPherson, do you have anything that you want to share?
Everything I have, I'll defer to the 23-22 discussion at the end.
Okay. All right. So let me get down to superintendent's recommendations. We have approval of minutes for the regular meeting, October 9th, 2023. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? It's been moved by Mr. Glasscock, second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Price. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we'll look at personnel matters. We have resignations, service personnel, extracurricular, and mentor teachers. Do I have a motion for approval of superintendent's recommendations as outlined under personnel matters?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Castello. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Nice. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ratification of superintendent's recommendations. Letter C. Thing is, consideration and possible action on the superintendent's recommendation that a service personnel employee's unpaid suspension be ratified by the board.
I move that we go into executive session to discuss this personnel matter.
Okay, it's been moved that we go into executive session. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's moved by Mr. Price, seconded by Mrs. Nice. For West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, B-2-A, we are going to executive session for the discussion of personnel matters at 6:10.
And so
We'll start back to regular session at 6:13. We left executive session at 6:12. It was moved to leave executive session by Mrs. Fawner and seconded by Mr. Price. Everyone voted unanimously to come back to regular session. Okay, so ratification of the superintendent's recommendation. Mr. McPherson, what's the recommendation?
I recommend that you uphold the superintendent's recommendation that Timothy Long have an unpaid suspension.
Do I have a motion to approve that recommendation?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Price. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Nice. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now we're under routine matters. Release from Wetzel County Schools. As I say at every meeting, this is only, I tell how many people it is, this is only one person that is asked to be released. There's a request to use school facilities, out-of-state trips, chaperones and volunteers, and I'll ask this as I ask every time we have this, these people have all been vetted correctly? Thank you, correct, thank you. At all the different schools listed there. Then we have the work release, and we have construction project of bus maintenance facility. Okay. And I can tell you on the bus maintenance facility, you get the paper, I answer your question. Oh no, that's it. That members, just to know that the bid opening for the bus maintenance facility was held yesterday. The winning bid was awarded to Lombardi Development for $5,765,000.
I'd like to move item F from,
Okay.
we're talking about it separately.
Okay, I'll second that. It's been moved by Mr. Glasscock and seconded by Mrs. Fawner to look at item F separately. Let's go ahead and move on the other ones then, and then we'll come to that one.
We need to vote on
You
that.
have to vote.
Oh, we have to vote on
Yeah,
that,
vote
thank
on
you.
that first and then vote.
All right, so do we have a, thank you, do we have a, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I was aye. Okay, motion carries to separate item F from the rest. Okay. Now, let's go back and do A through E. Okay, do I have a motion to accept all of the things underneath routine matters, letters A through E?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Castello, do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Nice, any discussion? Mrs. Nice, sorry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, all right, so now we're down at the construction project of the bus maintenance facility. Again, it's for, the winning bid was at $5,765,000. Per West Virginia Code 9A-4-B9, if we have to discuss financial property matters involving or affecting purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, anything like that, we need to go into an executive session. So I move that we go into an executive session for letter F, construction project of bus maintenance facility.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Mrs. Fawner, seconded by Mr. Glasscock. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're going into executive session at 6:17. Return back to regular session at 6:51. We left the executive session at 6:50. It was moved by Mr. Price and seconded by Mrs. Nice. It was voted on unanimously to return to regular session. Okay, so we're under letter F, construction project of bus maintenance facility. This is asking for approval for the construction of the facility awarded to, as I said earlier, where we go, to Lombardi Development, Inc. for $5,765,000. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mrs. Nice. I'll second it. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, next thing
Thank you, Chris.
is, thank you,
Be careful.
treasurer's report.
I have no transfers and increases tonight.
Number 8, first reading of the revised Wetzel County policy. This is the first reading. Mr. McPherson can address that for us. It is a revised policy dealing with substitute teacher arrangements.
So as you probably noted, the only real change in there is how we're going to pay substitutes. I think it's a favorable arrangement. It's going to help our retired folks who want to come back and sub. It's going to start them out a whole lot better than they do now. It also reduces the number of days it takes to get to full rate on a long-term job. And we picked 20 days because it had been 30 days. And at 20 days, if you sub in a long-term job, you get a day of sick leave. And once you get to 20 days, you keep your full-time pay in that position. And that lets people who are trying to help us out, if they need to take a day, we can get to 20 days, and then they have a sick day, and then if they have to miss another day, they remain at their full rate in that same job, based on the policy.
Too bad it can't be retroactive. But that's great for all substitutes.
It really is. I think it'll help all of
I
them,
think
and
it-
looking at our Wetzel County
I'm
teachers
hoping that
and-
my trip to Smart Fund every morning will improve
Yes.
on how many jobs aren't filled.
All right, let me be Debbie Downer. I can't, and please don't mistake this for me being against this policy, I'm not. But you do need to know the cost. I think it's fair to know that this doesn't come without a cost, and it might be a worthwhile cost, that's what you have to decide. But it's hard to predict this, it's hard enough to find subs as it is. But the ideal goal of this is to get people to sub, so it's gonna cost you. And we went through and did an estimate, which is just an estimate. Just so you know, our sub costs, I'm nothing if not transparent, I'll tell you that. The sub costs last year, slightly over $1 million for professional subs. So that's what we're already paying in sub costs.
And it would be more if we were filling every subject.
That's correct. And so, this additional policy, it's a preliminary estimate. It's hard to predict, but based on, we did put some effort into it, it could be another $250,000 a year. But then you got to decide whether or not that's worth it or not, but I think it's worthwhile. You need to at least understand it.
I appreciate you giving that information to us. The reason I got on the board was for students, and if students don't have a teacher teaching them, we can't get them where they are, so I think it's well-spent money. I move that we approve the first reading of the revised Wetzel County policies. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
It's been moved by Mrs. Spawner, seconded by Mr. Glasscock. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, number 9, discussion, possible action for potential purchase of property. Again, it's West Virginia Code 6-9A-4B-9 to discuss financial property matters involving or affecting the purchase, sale, or lease of property or advanced construction planning. That's the reason to go to an executive session. So I will move that we go to executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
So moved by Mrs. Spawner, seconded by Mr. Castelo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At 6:56, we go to executive session. Regular session at 7:22. We left executive session at 7:20, and it was moved by Mrs. Nice and seconded by Mr. Price. It was unanimous to come back to regular session. At this time, we are not going to take any action on the potential purchase of property. Okay, number 10, board member committee reports. Do you have anything more, Todd? Okay. Other items? Mr. McPherson, you can.
Just start that end of the table. If anybody has anything they'd like to say?
I'd just like to say that I think our trainings that we had yesterday went really well. We had our first signs of reading training. Our own teachers put that on. They did an excellent job with it. We had like 80 people there. So we probably got about 90% of our K2 staff trained, which is pretty good. So we'll have to do a makeup session after school for them.
As you know, we had robust bids, everything opened up, everything went good there. I was hoping, I had a conversation with the EPA about all the testing that was done in Hayden City. They were supposed to send me a letter that was supposed to be here by today so I can inform you, but long story short, everything was thumbs up. Nothing was found in any of the schools for any of that down in Hayden City. They're supposed to have a public hearing November 18th, I think is what it's going to be. I'll have to check my calendar again. They've changed it 3 times. It went from October to November, back to October, now it's back to November. But he told us that everything there at both schools, there was no findings, anything with any of the samples at the school, so we're all clear there. So other than that, that's all I have for tonight.
Child nutrition this month has been added about 3 or 4 new menu items, and these have been received with, the students have really liked them and have enjoyed them, and so we're going to continue to add some new menu items as we proceed. Just want to thank the cooks for all their hard work, and getting new items in is not easy sometimes, and we have to learn the process of how to best prepare for our students. So I appreciate all their hard work.
Thank you, we do too.
Hey, Mr. Linus?
I just want to say one thing. You know, you passed on first reading that proposed substitute change. I just want to make sure that's crystal clear to the public that, you know, it's not in effect yet. It can't be in effect in the middle of a pay period anyway. So at some point, hopefully it's passed at the next meeting, we'll have to set an effective date, which would probably be, I'm thinking December 1, because your meeting's going to be November for any subs worked on December 1st. School secretaries are keeping track of these running subtotals, and it's all over the county, and it's crazy. It's something that'll have to be done at the beginning of the pay period.
Thanks. Our TSS completed the installation of the uninterrupted power supply, the backup batteries at each school, so that is done. And we've also had a big win with Schoology talking to Weavis. So grades are now transferring every night from Schoology to Weavis. Hopefully many happy teachers out there, and only good things to come. Thanks.
Great, thank you. That is good.
I'll just say that you guys, not including this meeting, the previous 2 meetings, we hired 18 teachers aid subs, and we did seniority drawings for those folks. And once we finally got them all in, we're 3 for 3 right now, other than we had a mix up this morning where someone was subbing in a job and was sick and didn't know how to put it out so we could get somebody called. We filled every open job for 3 days in a row now, which is great to see on the sub aid side. So my hope is that when we get to the second reading, the sub policy for our teachers, that will help out on that side too. And every morning when I log into the system to see the carnage and mayhem, that there'll be less carnage and mayhem.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, then number 12, the date and time of the next meeting will be November 14th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the county office. Do I have a motion for adjournment? So moved. So moved by Mr. Castello. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Price. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 7:00.